There we go. We're live. That's usually how every one of these episodes start. Hey, there we go. We're live.
We open up Audacity. I get my mic over here. Whoa. All right. I haven't been watching anything or don't really have any news this week. Oh, wait a second. Why the hell are you muted? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I did it on purpose. I was checking my mic.
Oh, I saw your lips moving. I'm like, whoa, uh-oh. Something happened.
Oh, what was I doing? Oh, we could talk about the internet thing on how like we were trying to figure out the internet. And I always brought it back to the story of like how we rewired the whole stereo just to find out the damn thing was on mute.
You can tell that because I barely remember that.
You barely remember? Okay. Yeah, so we'll talk about it. I've been watching that series on Netflix called High Score.
Yeah.
Dude, it's right in your wheelhouse.
I did hear about that.
Yeah, I sat down yesterday thinking I just wanted to watch something. Wound up watching 4 of the 6 episodes, and they're an hour long.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. I was like, and they got to like the most recent ones where they were getting into like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and the combat games.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is subtitled because they're talking to like Japanese programmers.
Right.
And Janessa came home. I'm like, oh, I can't now.
Yeah.
I can't. There's no way my brain can comprehend all what's going on.
Right.
I'm going to start missing things that I want to say.
It's done. It's over.
So we have Emmett. He lost.
He did, but Emmett and Mickey did a little bit better than I thought they would. For Emmett to take 20% out of that against Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, that is pretty good. I got to give it to him there. Charlie Brown. Yeah, I mean, I expected an 80-90%. And
yeah, Charlie Brown and Mickey was 70-30. That was pretty high for Mickey.
I think Charlie Brown's going to carry it.
Charlie Brown versus Rudolph, really?
Yeah, I think Charlie Brown's going to carry this.
All right, we'll see.
And then we have the massive news that dropped.
Yeah.
Which I think depending on where you are in your life is how you receive that news.
I'm just fine with it.
Yeah, I don't have any issue with either. Well, you got yourself a joke? You don't have yourself a joke. Let's be real. Yeah, I've got another one that's kind of holiday-ish. So,
okay.
And I'm hoping this one's a snoozer. I am going for all out crickets this one. I'm tired of laughs. I got to get back to my roots.
You do.
I got to think about how I'm cruising into the cheesy this week, too.
Oh, dude, that was easy. I got one.
Really? That quick?
Bro, yeah. You're probably going to know it.
Hell no, Sean. Dude, I've watched that back so many times because your response was because I think I caught you off guard.
You did.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, I got one. I'm just going through the rest of these.
Okay, I got something stupid for the cruising to the cheesy. So, okay, I'm good whenever you are.
All right, give me a countdown. 3,
2, 1, and go.
Welcome back to the Dadnarok podcast. This is Sean,
and this is Chris.
Hey, we're cruising through the cheesy here in December. It's going fast already.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Why are we cruising through the cheesy? I can't live in the cheesy.
I don't know, man. We're just cruising through December. What do you want from me?
this whole year, I guess, would be considered cheesy.
Yeah. The cheesiest of cheese.
Oh, man. Yeah, dude, I've been watching something here. I think a lot of people out there, kind of probably ones that listen to us, will be more in tune to knowing about this.
Mm-hmm.
But on Netflix, there's a series called High Score.
Okay.
And it's always kind of been on my radar, but I just don't have time or really the want to check out new things. Even if I hear they're really good or if it's something that I want to watch, There's another one on there that deals with like old vintage toys, like the Turtles toys, and there's like it's like
the toys that made us.
Yeah, 3 seasons into it. Like I want to watch that too. You've watched that one?
Yeah, I like that one.
Awesome. This one here, dude, it fell right in line with us. I mean, it started right back, at Atari, and it starts at the beginning of video games and text adventure games and all that, and it just basically slowly works its way through, like how Mario became, who he was,
right?
And there was also that it talked about a couple I think they were in Yale, the college. I may be wrong, but they were basically running an arcade out of the dorm. And people were beating some of the Space Invaders really, really quickly, or doing really, really well.
Right, and they've started to mod the machines to make the game harder. You know what? I did catch this actually.
So they went ahead and did that, and then they were basically Atari went ahead and basically sued them.
Yeah, and
then they were able to get Atari basically to drop the lawsuit and settle with them.
They sued him, then they hired him.
Yeah, they hired him, and then they approached. Who did they approach? The next game, was it Donkey Kong? The next game that they were going to modify.
Yeah,
and no, originally they modified Missile Attack.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what it was.
And then they were working on Space Invaders,
mm-hmm.
But then they approached, the other company, saying, you know what, they didn't want nothing to do with us. Why would you? And they didn't call their bluff,
right?
But going all the way back to that type stuff, then when Mario came out and how he was king. And then Sega rolled into it with the Genesis and how they were approaching with Sonic and everything. It's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, kind of the history of video games. I think I only got through. This is right around the time that we moved, so I think I watched the first 2 episodes, like around the arcade, and then the introduction of the home consoles with the Atari, and then in 1985 with the NES. And I haven't watched any episodes since then. I kind of forgot about it. I'm definitely going to pick it up now that you reminded me here on Netflix. Good show.
Yeah, I mean, I stopped at right about when they got to where they were talking about Street Fighter. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize Street Fighter originally was just Ken and Ryu. I didn't realize there was no other characters, so it was originally just those two.
Okay.
And then Street Fighter 2 was when they introduced, I think it was 8 characters in total. So you had Blanca, and you had, all the other ones. Chun-Li. Mm-hmm. So at that point, and that's when I basically had to go ahead and stop it because Janessa came home, and a lot of it was subtitled, so I couldn't read it, listen, and then see that I haven't seen her for like 9.5 hours, so I couldn't exactly tune her out because that would have been trouble. So
I mean, you could have.
Oh, I could have, and then I could have been sleeping on the couch.
You can watch all the Netflix you want.
But I mean, if you guys haven't checked that out, I mean, that definitely, it's a top of the list for me. And like I said, I got a couple more episodes to finish, and I'm looking forward to it.
Very good. That's High Score on Netflix. Check it out if you haven't already.
You do anything worth noting this past week? That's it for me. I mean, I've been boring this week.
Anything that's worth talking about?
Yeah. I like that.
I added some candy canes to my light display outside.
Have you figured out the electrical issue?
I've got an outlet around back that keeps tripping. I don't know if maybe there's just I have an extension cord that kind of goes around the entire side of the house from the back of the house.
So your lights are tripping, bro?
Yeah, my lights are tripping, bro. It hasn't been an issue so far. Hopefully it's, not too bad, but between this year and next year, I plan on getting those outlets around back looked at and replaced. So I'll actually have 3 that'll be working with as opposed to just the 2 I am now. So hopefully it won't be an issue. But man, we drove around our subdivision here over the last few days, and everybody's starting to go all out. We were fairly early to the party as far as decorating your house, getting your lights up. I put mine up, I think maybe Thanksgiving or right around there. So we were like one of the first, and we were like, oh man, yeah, our house looks pretty good. Everybody else needs to catch up. And boy, howdy, did they catch up.
Boy, did they catch up and pass.
Oh yeah. Now they sent out a newsletter saying that there's going to be a light contest for the neighborhood, and gift cards or like for first, second, and third place or whatever.
Yeah.
We're not even going to place, man. We're not even going to get in the top 20.
You're going to, thank you for participating, Ribbon.
Yeah. So I like the look of the house. I mean, we look good. It's a nice, we got nice white lights and stuff out there. But yeah, people around here went all out. But, they have a head start. This is my first year. What can I do?
It's funny you say white lights. Where do you fall on white lights? Like,
I don't really have a I don't really have a preference. I think for my house and my exterior, it's mostly brick and it's kind of like a medium tone brick. And I think the white lights really like add a nice glow to the house. But a lot of different houses say like a maybe like a white siding or something. I think the colored lights and the multicolored lights really kind of glow nicely and reflect well on like a white siding house. So it really just depends on the outside of the house, what that looks like and what would typically fit better.
yeah, I like white. White to me, now see, it depends on who you're talking about. Talk to. Some people say white is classic.
Hmm.
To me, I think like multicolored is classic. I
Yeah.
think white, just like if you're redoing a house and everyone does their kitchens is flat white, I
Right.
think white itself looks more modern to me.
Okay.
But it looks great in certain instances. Like I could never do my tree in white. Like my
Right.
tree needs to be multicolored. Now some people like I think I've seen a video where some guy went in and did his tree, multicolored just to mess with his mother. And she
Yeah.
freaked out and made him unwrap the whole tree and make it white,
Right.
which was hilarious. But I like it, but like outside for me, I got those big old fashioned bulbs
Yeah, I do
on
like
mine.
those. They're retro, man.
And yeah, that's kind of why I went that way. And I never got I haven't yet had a chance to put my inflatable up out front because we had some weather and the ground got all nasty. And I, I'm I'm probably gonna put them up because if I don't put them up, I'll get in trouble because Justin went out and bought them specifically for this year. But
There is
yeah,
one type of light that I actually don't like. I do like the old school multicolored big bulbs, especially. Like that's classic Christmas to me, like 60s, 70s. That's stuff that we grew up with as kids. That when the outside bulbs look like that,
yeah,
and I do like the kind that I have. Like it's kind of a more I don't know. It's just the warm glow of the warm white bulbs. The mini lights that are out there. That's nice too. That's what I have in my house. But there's one type that I don't like, and it pretty much I think it first arrived with really the uprising of LED and the introduction of LED outside instead of incandescent. Maybe about 10 years ago, so were the cool white bulbs, where they're the really
oh, like the
blinding
light bulbs that
white
go in
light.
like lamps in the house.
Yeah, it's like a really blinding white light, but they're cool instead of warm, so they got like this bluish hue to
Oh,
them.
those ones.
Yeah, they're just so bright that I've never liked them at all.
I don't think anything about that would scream Christmas to me. I mean,
Yeah,
something like that you can have on the house year round. Like businesses do that.
yeah,
I mean, that wouldn't. Yeah, that wouldn't actually. Yeah, no, I wouldn't go for those at all. I haven't personally seen them, but I can see exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, and sometimes the LED, if they're not very good, LED have come a long way in the last few years, too, where you could look at an LED bulb when they first came out, and you could almost see, like, the strobe effect,
Yeah.
where, they almost kinda, mess with your eyes a bit. They're not like that too much anymore. They've gotten a lot better, and they've really, upped their game when it comes to warm white lights. They used to not be able to do a warm color very well, but now, I mean, man, you can put one set of bulbs out and get an app for your phone and switch it between warm white, cool white,
Yeah.
multicolored. They're like little versions of our Philips bulbs here, just in a little mini light. That's the dream one day where I could just switch back and forth between whatever setup I wanna have.
What's my mood today?
Yeah.
I'm in a bad mood. It's straight red.
Yeah, someday.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, no, I was always curious about that because I mean, like I said, I've got the colored ones outside, and you showed yours, and your house is different. Yours house, like I said, is more of that brick exterior.
Right.
What you were explaining was almost my house because I've got the white siding, but then I do
Yeah.
have some brick portions of it,
Right.
and I mean, it's straight old fashioned looking. Like if you go down the street from my house, it's almost funny because one side is like glowing blue when you get closer, and then all of a sudden you look in a yard and it's an explosion.
Yeah.
And then you look right across the street, and it's like they're having a light battle. Like they knew what they were doing, and they just started just piling it on, so you can outdo each other. It's one of those like, oh my, you're on the International Space Station, Houston. Can you see this?
I can't wait. I'm gonna up my game each and every year, add a little bit more. Eventually, I'll get into Halloween too, and decorating.
I see outside Halloween. I want nothing to do with.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, Thanksgiving, maybe like hay bales and some things, just little things.
Right.
But I mean, I'm not about the creepy outside. Maybe I'm just getting older and I don't like it so much anymore.
Well, what excited me this year actually was that I happened to see a video as I was scrolling through Facebook, and somebody had made these wooden cutouts, but they painted them to look like the characters from the real Ghostbusters. So they're like from the old school cartoon
Oh, that's pretty
Ghostbusters,
cool.
and they were like holding their proton packs, and out of the proton wands, they had like rope light of different colors, so it actually looked like the stream that comes out of the Ghostbusters proton packs, but it was like a light show, and they were busting some ghost that was like hanging from one of their trees out front. See, something fun like that I would love to do.
Are you that creative? Would you
Am
be
I
able
that creative? Boy, it would take a long. I could do it. It would just take
I
a
know
while,
you could
man.
draw it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, would you be able to break it out with like a table saw and things and sand it
I don't
down?
know.
That's the side I'm like, oh man, he's gonna be missing a finger for Halloween one year.
I don't know, maybe. Or I could just order them off Etsy. I don't know. Who knows?
Now I tell myself every year that I'm gonna do Christmas bigger and bigger. And dude, I think I do less and less. I had my big snowman is still up in the attic. I haven't pulled him down.
Yeah.
He's a pain because the ground in the front, he always falls over. I'm like, Jesus, I gotta go pick him up again, or put his hat back on, or something down those lines. So it's more of a hassle sometimes than what it's worth.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Plus, it's 2020. Some folks are overcompensating with doing more than they normally do, and some people just don't have the energy this year.
I love putting up the ones I have.
Yeah,
and they always go. Now I've always anticipated stringing them up and over my roof, and kind of going that way. So they not only are they on the edge, but you can see them going up and over as well.
right.
So that may be the next thing I do.
Yeah,
But I got to figure out how I would fasten them up there so they don't just fly all over the place.
right. You have to get up there, get up on that roof with a staple gun.
Oh yeah, staple my cup to the side of the house.
Get real Griswold about it.
Oh man, I haven't watched that yet. I can't wait to watch that.
So it's very apparent that Chris and I are in the holiday mood here. Speaking of which, we've had our second round of the Christmas TV special throwdown. You got some results for us?
I do, and once again, I'm salty, guys. I'm not going to let this go. But this week we had Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, up against Emmett, taxidermy,
Emmett Otter, yes.
Jug Band Christmas, and me and you were talking about this before we went live here, or we were talking about this before we went ahead and started recording, and Emmett got a lot more votes than we anticipated. I mean, it was a landslide win. It was 81% to 20%.
Yeah, Rudolph won 83 over Emmett.
But I mean, 20% of the votes is a lot more for a special I never heard of.
For Emmett Otter to go against the juggernaut that is Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer and get 20% of the vote, that is actually pretty good.
So he moved on, and then we had, old Christmas star himself, Charlie Brown's Christmas versus Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yeah, two titans, man. Two icons of the cartoon world. Mickey Mouse versus Charlie Brown.
I think Charlie Brown underperformed here.
Yeah.
He won, but it was 70% to a 29%.
Right.
I was like, okay, yeah, you handled your business, but not to the extent I thought he would.
Yeah, the power of Mickey Mouse, man. Even he didn't win, but still, once again, it's like he got 30% against the Titan, the juggernaut that is Charlie Brown. This time of the year, man, Charlie Brown kind of owns holiday specials, in the minds of people. So coming up, that just means that coming up here in round 3, we've got the best versus the best, man. Who do you think is going to take it?
I think Charlie Brown's going to take it.
Yeah, Charlie Brown and Rudolph.
Yeah, I think Charlie Brown's going to run away with it. I don't even know if this is going to be close. I think it's going to be another Mickey. I think it's going to be a 70 to 30 type split.
Oh boy, no, I think it's going to be way closer to 50-50.
I think people are right now way too connected to Charlie Brown. Definitely with the whole Save Charlie Brown campaign they put out there, and just that whole thing. It's Charlie Brown is in the forefront of everyone's mind.
Should we? So you were knocked out round 1. All of your picks were gone early.
Oh, so you're just rubbing salt in the wound.
Well, I said that to say this. Should we try to make it interesting, maybe with this final round? Since you're so confident that Charlie Brown has got this, do you think if Rudolph takes it, we should bet something? Make it interesting?
No, I'm game. What should we do?
I don't know. I'm making stuff on the fly.
Look at that. You go ahead and you offer something up, and you have nothing.
Okay. Well, no, that doesn't work. Let's see. I can edit this out of the audio portion, but I don't know. I mean,
Something for Facebook Live. Yeah, we got it. What can the bet be?
I don't know. I was just gonna say money, but
No, it's got to be something goofy.
yeah.
Got to be forced to do something goofy. Let our wives pie us in the face.
Oh,
Whipped cream pie to the face.
okay, yeah, I'll agree.
I'm pretty sure both Christina and Janessa will be all about it. And it's got to be done. We got to stream it live.
Okay.
It's got to be. So there's no faking. There's no editing. It's going to be, we'll put our phone up, mount it where we need to go. We'll go into the kitchen and just boom.
Oh, man. All right. Yeah. I've already brought this up. This is my fault. So
I came up with the terms. Okay, go for it.
All right. So how about whoever wins? So you've got Charlie Brown. I'm going to go ahead and back Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer here as the victor, the overall Christmas special winner for the Christmas special throwdown. Whoever loses between the two of us has to get a pie to the face from our wife.
So we're talking whipped cream type pie, correct? Like whipped cream on a plate.
Yeah, not like a full cherry pie. That would probably hurt.
That would be funny if we actually had a pie on the table and our wife went,
yeah,
plumped her face down into it.
The old Three Stooges, pie tin full of whipped cream.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. Okay, on top of that, it has to be live streaming on YouTube.
All right, you've got yourself a bet.
So it's got to be a live stream. We'll do that. We're just gonna say straight win or lose. No percentages or anything, right?
Yeah, just wait. Yeah, straight win or lose.
I almost put my foot in my mouth earlier when I was like, he's gonna run away with it. You're gonna put a percentage on this as well.
I feel I feel like there's whipped cream in my future.
Oh, that's awesome. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun.
Oh, what did I do? I really stepped into it.
Usually it's me. I am also just stepping into things like that.
Oh well. But that's what our round 3, our final round of the Christmas special throwdown is going to be this year. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer versus Charlie Brown. What is it actually called? It's Charlie Brown Christmas. Charlie Brown Christmas. So yeah, people vote for Rudolph.
No, that's not Rudolph. No Rudolph. I think Christina and Janessa are going to get a kick out of this.
Yeah, well,
they're going to love this part. Anytime they get an opportunity to shove a pie in her face. Oh man! So with all this fun that's happening here, Warner, did you hear the news from Warner Brothers recently?
Yeah, they had a big bombshell this week where it was almost inevitable with all these kind of tiny news stories here and there about these deadlines being pushed and, theaters versus studios with the whole COVID situation this year. Warner Brothers just went ahead and ripped off the Band-Aid, man. They were like, hey, we've got an entire slate for 2021. Bunch of movies that were supposed to come out this year, a bunch of movies supposed to come out throughout 2021. And they're done, they're filmed, they're in the can, they're ready for release, and it just makes sense for us to put them out on our streaming service, HBOMax, throughout the entirety of 2021. But they're going to be what? I guess like a double release where they'll release to the theaters that are open in addition to their streaming service.
Yeah, so you'll have it's a dual release setup. So they're going to do the same thing that they're doing with Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman will go in all the theaters that are open. Say, for instance, I've got a Cinemark theater right up the street from me that is open.
Right.
But it's also going to be on HBO Max.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing come Christmas. And then they said their whole 21 library is going to do the exact same thing. Now, what I was reading, and so I was kind of curious, when we were talking about this, like, how are they making money off this? What are they doing?
Yeah.
I found out they're doing away with the free preview. So there is no free preview on HBO Max. So I think sometimes it was a week or a day or two or something like that before you went ahead and got it. They went away with that.
Okay.
So it's an automatic $15 for that month.
I see. Okay.
So if you're going to go that route, they're forcing you into it rather than you trying to play the game of, get the free week, shut it down, get the free week, shut it down type thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many times you can do that. Maybe with different emails and things like that. There's always a way around that setup.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, they should. That's something they should definitely get rid of if they plan on moving to this model to try to make the most money out of these releases that they have coming out. I thought it'd be a good idea for you and me to kind of go through some of these releases that they are putting out over the next year to see how we feel about each individual film and if whether or not it'll be a success for them.
Before we dive into that, what are your thoughts? I mean, I know you are a much bigger movie like to the theater person than I
Yeah,
am. For me, it's hard for me. I'm not a big go to the theater by myself. You, on the other hand, I know will.
right.
Uh, so I've got to find a babysitter. Everything's double for me. So by the time I'm done the theater, I paid a hefty chunk.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know I'm doing that. I know I'm going for the experience, and there's something to be said about the experience.
There is. That's what, people are upset about theaters being shut down and maybe them not being able to come back after this crazy year that we've had. And certainly they're kind of in dire straits here financially. The margins were always razor thin when it came to, keeping the doors open because each and every ticket that's purchased, most of that ticket money from the patrons are going back to the studios.
I think it's like 90%.
Yeah, it's a lot. So really the most money that they were making was from concessions, and that's why, it cost you $15 for a soda and a popcorn.
Yeah.
um, but I love, like you mentioned, I love the movie going experience. I love being hyped for a film, seeing the trailer, going early so I can see new trailers, sitting down in the big comfy leather reclining seats that, used to warm your butt.
Yeah.
That's kind of a newer addition, some of the upgrades of the theaters around here. But yeah, the lights going down and the movie starting and you munching on some snacks, like you're just like away and gone. You're like separate from the world for a good, 2 hours or
Yeah, 'cause
so.
you shut your phone off as well, or you put it on
Yeah.
vibrate, so there's no distractions to it.
Yeah, and you're transported to this world, right? When at home you've got all the lights on typically, or you're kind of got your phone in your hand, and it's not the same experience. And I do miss the giant screen. Our screens are getting bigger and better with the advantage of flat screen technology and TVs over the last couple decades, honestly. But they still, I mean, it's still not 100-foot screen.
Yeah.
It's never going to be that big, when you go to a theater. So I say all that to say this. I love the movie going experience, but I also understand that Warner Brothers, they're a business. They have,
Yeah.
just as these movie theaters are a business, Warner Brothers has a lot of employees that they're trying to feed too. So, they have these properties in hand. They have these movies in hand. They have this streaming service that they want to be success. They don't want it to be, they want it to be the next Disney Plus, not the next Quibi. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So they're putting a lot of time, effort, and money into HBO Max. This just makes sense to me as a move. And the only regret that I have is that HBO Max isn't on the Roku yet. Hopefully they come to terms real soon because I'm going to be looking forward to these movies.
Yeah, I know. I'm like I said, I'm of two minds of it. I mean, I don't want the theater chains to die.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe Regal's going anywhere. Cinemark, AMC. I don't think the big ones aren't going to hurt. I think they'll make it through. I'm not sure how big the smaller chains are anymore. Like, I know there's a few in our area, but a lot of the ones that are in my area are discount theaters. So
Yeah.
they get them after the main run. Then they show them at a lower price. But my fear is, ticket prices right now are already, can be a little high.
Yeah.
For certain, if you want to see like the IMAX or you're going to the IMAX 3D. So it's been so long. I was like, do they even have a 3D anymore? But if you want to see those, movies, you're going to be paying a steep price.
Yeah.
I'm afraid if a lot of these theaters start shutting down, is that price point going to go up? Because if I remember right, I think the actual studios dictate the price point of the tickets for the most part. Just kind of like how Apple dictates how much the iPad's going to sell, and same with Disney.
Oh, I'm not aware of how that works. Honestly, I'm not too familiar. I know that the studios dictate how much of a cut they get. But yeah, the ticket prices. But you got to be right. I assume. I assume it's a regional thing too, because if you go to a movie theater in New York City, you're liable to pay, $20 a ticket just for your one ticket to go see a movie.
Yeah.
But you go to the Midwest out here, and maybe it's 12, 12 or $13. And if you go see a matinee on like a Tuesday or something, it's $6.
Yeah,
So it really
exactly.
depends on when you see that movie and what part of the country you're living in.
Yeah. So let's go through these here. Well, what's the first one? The earliest release here.
Well, as you mentioned, Wonder Woman's coming out Christmas Day. That's going to be a big deal. There's already some reviews come out, some positive reviews for Wonder Woman that is very uplifting, better than the first one. So I don't know if you'll check it out. Yeah, I don't know if you'll check it out immediately, but at least it's getting some good buzz around it.
Oh, it'll be a Christmas night watch for me. I'll put it out there. I'm pretty sure, like once the kids go to bed and I get my complete fill of, A Christmas Story and everything.
Yeah.
The 24 hours of running that.
Once you're done with Christmas movies, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll watch that. And it'll be a later night. But like I said before, I don't know. It depends on how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what this Christmas morning and Christmas Day is going to really look like for us. It's going to be different.
Right.
So, I mean, we're going to be doing the normal, gifts and then breakfast. And then there's going to be a gap in the middle of the day, which typically is taken by family. But I think we're really not doing anything with family, just like we did Thanksgiving. So there's going to be a lot more of probably a lot of naps.
Yeah.
Taking place there.
That sounds good.
And then, the big dinner. Because my family, we eat better on Christmas than we do Thanksgiving.
Mm.
So we do the big breakfast, then we have the gap, then we have ham and all this big dinner.
Yeah.
And then we just pass out. So if I'm at the pass out phase, I may watch it the following day, but it's definitely on top of my list.
Oh, well, very good. Well, the month afterwards is, we're going to be in 2021, and this is their 2021 slate. So this is what caused the big ruckus here this week. Mortal Kombat is a movie that they made. Yeah.
I want to see that so bad.
I don't even remember seeing any trailers or anything for this. Have you?
Not really, no. But I mean, I love both of the movies that are out there now. The first one and the second one, it's almost terrible.
Annihilation.
But I love it. I don't know why I love these movies so much. Maybe it's because we grew up with the video game.
Yeah.
And how all the adults and everything were like, oh, this is the end of our youth and they're going to destroy our youth.
I'm trying to look up some information about the movie that Mortal Kombat 11 came out. Was scheduled to release on pictures until producer Todd Garn confirmed, and no film would be delayed until theaters reopened. Oh, that's old news. See if I can pull it up on
that link. You can click on Mortal Kombat, and it's going to send you to.
Oh, what link?
The link in the notes. In the very bottom of the notes, there's a link.
Oh, decider.com. Okay.
Oh, it's
I thought you had. Yeah.
There's nothing there. You click on the link and it says Mortal Kombat 2021. There's nothing. It's not one.
Let me go to the old standby. IMDb.com. Mortal Kombat 2021. Simon McQuoid, Greg Russo, David.
Yeah, I didn't put anyone
Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't worth if we didn't know who they were. I didn't put them in the notes.
Okay. Well, that's enough to mention something. Yeah, so I'm looking through the cast list here of Mortal Kombat. I don't recognize any of these people, which may be a plus, honestly. I mean, when you remember back in the day, say for instance, the Street Fighter movie, it was a Jean-Claude Van Damme vehicle.
Yeah.
And him and Raul Julia was in that film. So I don't know. Just because I don't recognize the director or any of the cast doesn't mean that it won't be a fun watch.
Dude, I don't remember any of the cast from the first two movies. It's not going to stop me. The name alone of this movie is enough to draw me in.
Yeah.
It's just like you were saying, I don't remember seeing a trailer. I don't remember seeing anything from it. So I'm like, let's do it. Let's go. Now, I don't know if I would have seen this in the theater. I would have probably. I'm not going to pay, the amount for a ticket we're talking about to see this in the theater. Now, I am absolutely going to watch it at home, but I've got an HBOMax account already. So
Right.
I'm not even. They're not getting anything extra out of me. That's the weird thing from this. There's a lot of people that already have the accounts because they have cable services and they got HBO and it's included in it. So I mean, how many more people are they going to reach because they want to see Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Oh, I'm gonna check it out for sure. Pretty much a lot of these, if they're movies that were good enough to be released in the theater, and Apple TV has put out some movies. I know they had that war movie with Tom Hanks that was
Yeah,
originally going to be put out in theaters and stuff, and I haven't caught them. So more than likely, I'm not going to watch all of these that release throughout the year, but a lot of them I will. A lot of them I'm excited enough to check it out
yeah.
at least.
There's some big ones that are definitely worth a watch. Then there's some other ones I'm like, I didn't even I don't know who you are. I never
Yeah.
heard of you. I wouldn't have known the movie would have been released if it wasn't for it being a part of the list that are going right to HBO Max.
Yeah, for instance, the movie that's coming out after Mortal Kombat is a movie called The Little Things. Has Denzel Washington, Jared Leto, Rami Malek. So it looks to have a good cast, but I don't know if it's maybe just like a straight up drama or if it's some sort of action film. There's really not too much information known about it, and that might be just we probably haven't seen trailers for a lot of these because they kept them close to the vest for so long because they didn't know when the release dates were going to be.
Yeah.
Um,
We may start seeing trailers for these movies
yeah,
like pretty quick.
just to
Definitely
generate
the
some
Mortal
sort of
Kombat
buzz,
one coming out.
right? Because they have typically they have a schedule where they'll tease a movie a few months before the film comes out to kind of maximize the buzz on it. But for an entire year, they haven't known what the release date is going to be, and all of a sudden, well, it's January. It's in a couple months, or
Yeah,
a month from now.
yeah,
Less.
exactly.
So yeah, you're probably right. We will probably see some trailers to some of these. So that was another one here, The Little Things with Denzel Washington. What's our third one?
Well, we jump all the way to March, so there's nothing in February, period.
Okay.
And it goes to Tom and Jerry. I'm kind of excited for this.
This one I did watch the trailer to, yeah.
This one, I once again, I can't say I've seen the trailer, but I know Zach has gotten all into like the old school ones where they weren't talking, nothing. It was just Tom and Jerry running around, getting into shenanigans, kind of like the Wile E. Coyote and
Yeah.
the Roadrunner.
Right.
So just the fact that he was enjoying those tells me that he would absolutely watch it. Now I know his sister enjoys them too, Skylar. So then this will be one of those ones on March 5th. We will sit down as a family, and with our theater being open, I might go do this. I may go to the theater and buy popcorn
Yeah.
and bring it back to the house. Seeing that it's like not even a 5-minute drive.
Right.
I mean, it'd be long. It'd be a harder park and walk to the theater to get it and then leave than it would be to actually get there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So to kind of give that, I mean, movies. That's one thing movie theaters have. That popcorn is beyond anything you can buy at the house.
Fresh, hot, buttery. It's good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I may go that route. Make it a full-fledged like movie night. Plus, I mean that's a good way to support the movie theaters.
Absolutely.
They're getting 100% of those concession sales.
Yeah.
So if I don't feel safe enough to sit in there, if I just walk in there and grab some popcorn and walk out, I don't think they're going to complain.
Yeah. You're giving Warner Brothers their money by being an HBO Max subscriber, and you're giving the theater chains their money by getting some popcorn. I like
So
it.
essentially, it would work out exactly the way it would be if I watched it there.
Yeah, why not? Little preview. Tom and Jerry actually looks pretty cute. I think Zach and Skylar are gonna like it. It does look like a straight up kids movie. It's good. Basically, it is live action, but Tom and Jerry are CG, but they look exactly like their 2D counterparts come to life. They didn't mess with the design too much. They look how they look in the cartoons, and every animal is CG-ified, and they're doing the same stuff. I mean, they're chasing each other, they're hitting each other with frying pans or whatever. And Jerry actually, he moves out from the cartoons and he moves into a real hotel in downtown New York, in like Manhattan or something. Makes his little mouse hole in the bottom of the wall, and they hire Tom to get him out of the hotel, and hilarity ensues. So it should be pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, that sounds fun. That's what we need right now. We just need stupid. We need fun. We need something that's mindless. We need that type stuff right now.
Let's see.
Many of the Saints, Renaissance. We can jump right to May 21st and kick Godzilla vs. Kong.
Well, yeah. Here, let me mention the other two just in case. There's a couple more here. There's another movie in March called The Many Saints of Newark, coming out March 12th. There's another one in April called Reminiscence, coming out April 16th. A couple of movies in the spring. I don't know. I haven't heard of these. They may be, like I said before, dramas or something that would come out. But honestly, it's been a while because I haven't gone to the theater to just see a straight up like drama. I'm thinking of the 90s, and you think of like A Time to Kill and The Client and all these movies that weren't like huge action packed blockbusters, but they were like awesome movies, like incredible dramas with directed really well with acting, and you don't go to the theater for that kind of thing too much anymore.
Well, that's why Reminiscence has got me kind of intrigued.
Yeah,
I like a lot of what Hugh Jackman does.
Yeah,
so the fact that he would put his name on it has got me interested enough to, once they start putting it out there in trailers, just to check into it to see if that is something that I would be interested in seeing.
Yeah, whether it's a name brand like a Mortal Kombat or Tom and Jerry, like I know those properties and I'm already interested because of that. But some of this other stuff, like the Many Saints of Newark, Reminiscence, I'm at least curious enough to see a trailer so I can determine whether or not I'll be checking it out going forward. But here's another big movie that would have done gangbusters in the theater. It's kind of a shame, but Godzilla versus Kong coming out May 21st.
Seen that's in May. And Zach loves Godzilla. This one I may push we might go to the theater for.
The theater experience.
Because you can't experience Godzilla and King Kong properly on your television.
Yeah.
That's just like I always I love the Pacific Rim movies. But I've seen neither of them in the theater.
Yeah.
And I highly regret not seeing them in the theater because I didn't get that same massive feel.
Right.
Like you can get the feel at a smaller level at home, but you're not looking up and going, oh,
yeah.
I mean, that's what you're missing. I think you would absolutely miss that one, that feel with that movie at home.
Yeah, Godzilla versus Kong, a movie like that is made for the theater. So I don't blame you. I might do the same thing. Honestly, it may be the first movie that I go back and see.
Are theaters open in your area right now?
They are, but they're doing kind of the same thing where they're maybe showing some older films and have very limited seating and that kind of thing. So
I think ours are 20% capacity right now.
And I'm hoping by the time May 21st rolls around, we'll be in a bit better shape. So we'll just see how it goes.
You're hoping, right?
Yeah, you're hoping. Next up is something I'll definitely be checking out because I'm a fan of this franchise, and I don't typically go to the theater to see horror movies. I kind of watch them as I'm half watching them with my phone in my hand through my fingers. We just went through this past October with our Thrills and Chills season of movie watching. But yeah, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, a new Conjuring movie.
I don't think I've seen the second one yet.
Oh, no, I haven't either.
So, I mean, I know the first one I enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I may have to check out the second one. And if I've seen this in the theater, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
I'm on my own. Janessa wants nothing to do with scary movies. I mean, I'm getting to be a bigger and bigger wimp.
Yeah.
She has never been a scary movie person.
Right.
If I remember right, Christina's not either, is she?
Oh, heck no.
Dude, I thought when you were still living in your other house, she listens to us periodically, I think. I'm in trouble.
Yes, she does.
What I was thinking of doing one night, like if you were expecting me down there on a Saturday, not coming down on Friday and parking like further up the street,
right?
Putting one of those bags on my head and then knocking on the door.
Oh my god! She would have been so mad.
She would have killed me.
You would have been told to turn around and go right back home. You are not welcome here.
That crossed my mind a few times. I was like, the consequences of that may be dire. I may have the cops called on me too.
Weekend ruined at least, yeah.
Oh man, it's hilarious. Oh, just bad things are rolling through my head.
All right, let me look real quick what In the Lights is.
There was no one of note in it, so I didn't put anyone there.
Okay.
I think I started that too far down. Like Hugh Jackman was the first one.
Oh shit, In the Lights doesn't even come up in IMDb. I don't know what the hell it is. Okay. All right, so after that, on June 18th, is another film called In the Lights, which I can't even seem to pull up any information on. So very limited knowledge as far as the title of that film. In the Lights, don't know a director or starring or the genre of the movie even. But after that, July 16th, a month later, the long-awaited
Hit
sequel
him
to
high, hit
Space
him high.
Jam.
Hit him low, hit him low, hit him low.
Saying like a runaway train, I'm in your lane like it's only 3 seconds to score to win the game. Anyway,
Untamed. No.
I should cut that out.
Oh no, that's gotta stay.
But yeah, LeBron, man, taking the role that Michael Jordan played back in 1996 with helping out the Looney Tunes. I mean, we've already talked about this a little bit. You and I would have gone to see this in the theater.
Yes,
already.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the first movie is iconic by itself. I mean, the soundtrack, the whole thing about it, it's just timeless. No matter when you watch it. Like we just rewatched it, me and the kids, and they loved every minute of it. I'm sitting back in awe on how good it still looks.
Right.
So the fact that I don't think it's a redo. I don't think they kind of are like relaunching it. I hope it's a continuation, like 20 years later.
Yeah.
Thing. Hey, that guy, I forget his name from Moron Mountain is back.
Right.
And he's got a new squad of goons. And then all the little goons are still over there in Toontown. And they're like, uh-oh.
I don't know much about this plot other than it's similar to the first one, but I actually do know that because it's a Warner Brothers property, they're actually going to be bringing in some other Warner Brothers properties inside it. I mean, the Looney Tunes belong to Warner Brothers, but I heard that like Pennywise the Clown is going to be in this film. I don't know to what capacity or how scary he's going to be. It's still a kid's film. But I don't know if they're going to play against Pennywise or what. That's just what I heard. That it's going to have other Warner Brothers related properties in it besides.
I can see other Warner Brothers properties. Pennywise would be so out of place.
It's a little bridge too far, isn't it?
Yeah. What's he going to make LeBron float? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Make bugs float.
I don't know. We're
not strangers anymore.
And we've yet to see a trailer or anything, even though it's.
There's been a lot of talk. I didn't know Don Cheadle was in it.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So, I mean, I guess he may be the
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray of the movie. I know you can't have a Bill Murray without Bill Murray. I don't know. I don't know the role Don Cheadle's going to play.
Oh, how funny would it be if Bill Murray was in this one too? Just doing the same thing where he comes in for like 3 minutes of the film and then he's out again.
Yeah. No, I would not be shocked if they were keeping a lot of it under wraps.
Yeah.
On like who was actually in it, what they're doing, what basketball players are in it. A lot of that is tight-lipped right now. I mean, everyone knows Jordan. They showed the uniforms and everything they're in. Yeah, and a lot of people don't want to see it just because they're just so big on Michael Jordan. It was like, you know what? He's Jordan. LeBron's nowhere near him. He shouldn't be touching this. Honestly, they just need to get over themselves. There's no comparing. I hate the GOAT conversation.
Yeah, me too. Right.
Because there's no comparing era to era to era.
Yeah.
Every era is different. Tom Brady played in an era where you couldn't touch Tom Brady or the receiver.
Right.
But you look at Dan Marino, and he by the time he was done, he was in a full body cast.
Right.
Because they were beating him up because they could.
Yeah.
So I mean, just that whole conversation I think is absurd. Yeah, but going back to this, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I want to know what the storyline is. I will be sitting there, and I know if they use any of the original music, I know I'm going to get goosebumps.
Yeah.
Because I got it when I just watched the movie.
I guarantee you there's going to be some sort of nostalgia. They know a lot of people were fans of this growing up in the mid-'90s. You and I talk lovingly about it every time we do talk about it. I can't wait to see what kind of a movie it is. There's a ton of question marks as far as what the final product's going to be and what the story is going to be. And, yeah, it's another one I'm looking forward to as well.
Do you think they're going to do a rinse and repeat with the plot when it comes to the final portion of it? It's going to be a basketball game, basically identical to what they did the first time.
I think the generic plot is going to be similar because I mean, how could it not be? You've got LeBron. He's a basketball player, famous. You've got the Looney Tunes. I assume he's going to be helping him out, playing a basketball game against some other enemies that seem to be. So I'm sure that basic plot line is going to be there. But as far as the twists and turns and whatever they can do to kind of make it fresh, I think they're aware that that's a very basic plot structure, and you can't really do the same trick twice. And if you say if this is more of a continuation rather than just a reboot or a remake, then yeah, they got to do something different.
Yeah, I hope it is. I hope that like Bugs and Babs and everything can like refer back to Michael
Yeah,
and what they went through with Michael to make to have this be a little better, or they can feed off that prior experience. That's kind of how I hope they go with it. I'll be disappointed if they don't. I don't want to pump it too big up in my head
I don't either. Yeah,
because I don't want to walk out and end the movie just being disappointed. I want to go into it expecting a human playing basketball with cartoons.
yeah. So this is another one. Do you think you'll go to the theater for this one, or just watch it at home?
If I'm gonna go for Kong, Space Jam is nostalgic,
Yeah,
so I may have to see that one in the theater. Yeah, and we're getting later and later in the year. Now we're in July, so hopefully, it's back in the summer. People are outside a little bit more.
right.
Everything is being ventilated out. The whole, too many people in one space. We don't want to get into that stuff too much.
Yeah.
So that may be one I'll be actually going to see in the theater.
All right. Then up next in August 6th is the Suicide Squad, which is actually, I don't know if it's a direct sequel to Suicide Squad, the movie that came out a couple years
I was
ago.
going to say this had me confused.
Yeah.
Wasn't there already the movie The Suicide Squad, or is it just Suicide Squad? And this one they just put the in front to change the title.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. There's some movies like Deadpool, they just kind of do things on purpose to be like kind of like a wink and a nod. And this sort of has the same vibe. It's with the director of James Gunn, or it's the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn. He moved on to the Suicide Squad after he was fired from Disney Marvel. But
isn't he back again for the new Galaxy? I
yeah,
think
he's
brought
back again. He'll be doing the third Galaxy movie, but in between, he did this one with Idris Elba, John Cena, Margot Robbie, once again playing Harley Quinn. It's got to be better than the first one, man, because I got to be honest, that first Suicide Squad film was horrible, in my opinion. I hated it.
I didn't even watch it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, and I got really no intentions to see it, really. So that's what's kind of this one on the list. I'm like, I probably won't even watch it. I've got no real interest unless I hear there's some serious buzz around it. It's really good, and it's outperformed the prior one and everything. And they fixed issues with the first one and this one here. That may be when I watch it, but
yeah,
I'm not going to go out of my way on this one.
It is possible that it might be good because, from what I understand, they are kind of disconnecting it from that first Suicide Squad film. It's its own thing. It's not dependent on that first movie at all. It's a new director, James Gunn, who has successful track record with the Galaxy movies, with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So it has potential to be a good, funny, action-packed film, but time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, Will Smith didn't come back for this one here, so
no, he won't be back, right?
So we'll see. The next one's a big one. The next one I know nothing of. One of the podcasts I do listen to are doing a book club that they're reading a couple chapters, a week, and they're talking about when they go on the show.
Yeah.
But this is Dune. Do you know much about Dune?
I've never read Dune, but being a sci-fi geek that I am, I know that Dune was Star Wars before Star Wars was Star Wars. The Dune books by Frank Herbert, they came out in the 70s, I believe. Before the Star Wars movies were released. And they have a lot of the same themes. They have like this drug that's called spice, and it's these planets on, these people on different planets that sort of have this, there's royalty and like intrigue and drama between these families, and there's giant sand tunneling worms that we kind of get hints of in the Star Wars universe with Great Dragon. Yeah, kind of like that. Or those big worms in the
Tremors
movie. Yeah, or Tremors. Yeah, take your pick. But this is kind of the one to do it first. So Dune is a huge sci-fi property. They made a film back in the 70s. Did you fart?
No, Chloe sneezed.
I think they made a film in 1980 that was did pretty well. I mean, it was been a go-to for a lot of, there's certain films that if you're a sci-fi nerd, you have to watch. Be it, Dune, Blade Runner, Star Trek Wrath of Khan, that kind of thing. It's been in the It's been in the Hall of Fame for science fiction films here over the last few decades, but it's being remade with today's technology with an incredible director, Denis Villeneuve, who's done some awesome movies, Great Eye. So this is one that would have been a big release, that Warner Brothers would have pushed and put a lot of marketing money behind. You would have seen, like 3 or 4 trailers for this thing, for the lead up. And the fact that it's coming out on a streaming service, it's honestly, out of all of these, this is the one that's kind of most disappointing because I feel like it could have been game changing in the theater. But if it's just going to streaming, I don't think it's going to have the same kind of impact.
Well, we didn't talk about this before we even rolled into this here. What do you think about them making a year plan, like going a year out rather than say quarterly, engaging by how the situation is? Because I mean, we're talking Dune, we're talking October 1st.
Yeah.
So do you think if say we hit June and we're seeing theaters being able to open up, say at 75% capacity or more, and
Right.
think people are actually starting to attend again, do you think they're going to all of a sudden roll back everything and make it only a theater release? Or do you think they're going to hold to this?
I think they will hold for this. You can't announce this sort of thing and then halfway through the year be like, oh, well, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, there are going to be people upset either way. But I'm
Right.
just thinking, like, I know AMC came out with stern words
Yeah, they did.
To for Warner Brothers for making. I don't know if it was so much making the announcement they're going to be moving forward with this, but I think like for them saying we're doing it a year long. This is how we're doing it, rather than doing it saying the quarterly. Because say if you've got to June, which would be like I guess like second quarter,
Yeah.
they'd be like, okay, you know what, things are getting better. We need to make a little bit more money in the theater with our partners in the theater because they are kind of hand in hand.
Right.
And like, okay, now we're no longer releasing them for the second half of the year on HBO Max. It's only going to be here.
Well, I hate to once again take the studio side on this, but honestly, I can't blame them for wanting to make this large announcement for a full year because we've already done the entire that kind of thing throughout the entirety of 2020, where all of the studios were like, well, here's the release date for Wonder Woman. It's going to come out in June and then maybe September and then maybe October. And then, oh, we're going to put it out to, Christmas. Like every studio with every big movie, Ghostbusters Afterlife, like all the big movies that were supposed to come out in 2020, they had a release date that they ended up having to punt, and it's all willy nilly. And they were basically, it takes money just to put a date out. When you've got the marketing machine rolling on these films and then have to cancel that date and push it along, that costs a ton of money. So for them to just say, hey, 2020 sucked for us. Here's what we're doing 2020 to try to make our way out of it. And then they are also saying, come after, this isn't like a permanent thing. They are saying that come 2022, which I don't know, it depends on how successful this whole double release thing is with their streaming service and theaters. They may, backtrack on this come 2022.
Yeah, I always say you can never put the genie back in the bottle.
Yeah.
Once this is out and once this is going, and if it shows any success with a dual release process, progress,
Yeah.
well, they say they'll give the theaters, well, rather than doing a dual. I know we're kind of getting off topic here a little bit with the movie per se, exactly, but will they give the movie say exclusive rights for the first 2 weeks, and then that third week it goes to HBO Max and still in the theaters?
Yeah.
It says.
Yeah.
Something like that will wind up happening where so they can't I don't think they can exactly burn the bridge with the theaters and AMC and all them, but if they give them some type of exclusive rights for that first couple weeks, so if you say if I really want to see it and I'm jonesing to see it, I won't want to wait a few weeks. I'll go to the theater to see it.
Yeah, well, you bring up a point, and this is, I don't know. I'm not like some, business insider here, so I only know the kind of the cursory, the headlines here. But I do know another big studio, Universal Pictures. They recently struck a deal with theaters that broke the length of time that was initially in place for these theaters. It was a release window. You used to be able to have a movie in the theaters, and it would be, it used to be months and months, but at least it would kind of bump to weeks and weeks, maybe about 6 weeks or 2 to 3 months before it was released on Blu-ray or a video on demand services, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the theaters themselves would have this window of a few months to be exclusive showers of these movies and make their money from it. Universal Pictures struck a deal recently with, I believe, AMC, that were kind of the spearheaded this, where that window was cut down to 2 weeks. So coming up in the future, a big release like the new Fast and Furious movie from Universal Pictures, it'll be in the theater for 2 weeks and then out to their video on demand or Peacock or whatever they decide to do with it after that 2 week window, which for a lot of folks, and I think we've even talked about this before, like, I mean, there's a lot of folks out there that are just not going to go to the theater. Like, oh, well, it comes out, I could just buy it or stream it in 2 weeks. I don't need to go see it in the theater. So that was a big strike to the heart of theaters, that deal. And it kind of set the stage for this move from Warner Brothers.
And I think there's still going to be enough people like yourself. And then even me with some movies, like every Star Wars movie, I'm in the theater. Right. I will be there to watch. I'm not watching that at home, at least the first run.
Yeah.
But I think you're onto something. I think some people just won't go. But on the flip side of that, I think enough people would still want to have that experience. I think at least 2 weeks is very important for the movie theaters.
Yeah. So to kind of round this out here, we've got some more movies that we don't know too much about, but big titles with big names attached. We've got a movie November 5th called Elvis with Tom Hanks. I would assume that has to do with Elvis Presley. Tom Hanks isn't playing Elvis, is he?
I have no idea. All I know is he going to die on the crapper?
God, the guy who's played, Mr. Rogers and Forrest Gump and Walt Disney. Why not?
He's top of the line, man. He's got quite a range.
Just make him Elvis too. I don't think that's what it is. And then King Richard with Will Smith. Once again, I have no idea what that plot is or what that movie is.
I seen the name of that, I thought Princess Richard. I started laughing. That's an inside joke, guys.
Yeah, Princess Richard with Will Smith. We don't know much about those, but I think we do know a little bit more about a sequel to a trilogy of movies from the late 90s, early 2000s, The Matrix, finally coming out with The Matrix 4, Keanu Reeves. We're kind of in the midst of that. Well, Keanu Reeves never really went away, but Keanu Reeves seems to be more popular now than he was ever. He's just beloved by the internet community.
Yeah, he's almost a national treasure now. I don't know how
he is. I don't know, but he just doesn't seem to age. I think it's those John Wick movies, man.
What's that? And I think it's like every time that he has a picture with women and everything, he has his hands open. They're not on his waist. He's very respectful of everyone he's doing, taking pictures with. This one actually gets released on right about Christmas, December 22nd.
Wow, that'll be.
So we're a ways out from that, and so. But yeah, I mean, that one there, I see on the HBOMax that they have the whole saga. So they've got the other 3 movies.
Yeah.
So I really want to sit down and I want to work my way through those 3. I couldn't tell you the last time I watched any of them. It's been so long for me, and I really want to give Matrix 4. So I got to sit down and relive, those 3 movies.
Yeah, I got to do the same thing. I think the first one was so iconic and kind of fresh in my mind. I know what happened there, but I've only maybe seen the other 2 movies, Reloaded and what's the other one? Matrix Revolutions. Maybe once in the theater when they.
I remember they fell off so bad.
Yeah, they were not great.
So I mean, like you said, the first one was amazing, and then it just felt like it hit a cliff, and they never shot the grappling hook up.
No, they didn't. We'll see what they could do with the Matrix 4, though. I don't know.
Yeah, well, here's the hoping. I mean, there's a lot of, if I remember right, the way that it ended, I don't know how they're going to do this, but we'll see. Because I think there was some like characters that died off, and things didn't.
Spoiler alert, man! Come on.
Yeah, from what? 99?
2003, yeah. 2003.
But man, that's quite a list there. I mean, we talked about it a lot. There is a few movies, and you're with me though, that later in like summer you may venture into the theater to check out a couple of these.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I may have to do one of these. Janessa's not looking, snag Zach and run to the theater. But yeah, I mean that's fun. I mean it's big news. AMC was big, putting out a bunch of like stern letters and trying to. I think they're almost to the point where they have no bargaining. They have no like chip to work with right now because I mean a lot of their theaters are closed.
Right.
So the leverage they have is very little. So right now I think what they're doing is they're playing the public perception game.
Yeah.
they're getting out there and putting everything out towards you and me, us talking heads, and then everyone else, and Facebook and everything, so they can see what's going on and try to win that war that way, because they can't win it with leverage actually when they both sit down together. It's because when you have 75% of your theaters are, that's a fake number, but closed, how are you going to benefit me from me waiting and losing more and more money over time?
Yeah, the way it's worked for decades and decades, it's just not going to work going forward. It was, the pandemic was just the straw that broke the camel's back with this
Tipping
situation.
point.
Yeah, so this kind of put things in fast forward motion between because with the rise of streaming services and the rise of people just staying home and watching their upgraded home theater, at home, where they get better picture, better sound, windows shrinking. I remember when we were kids, I mean, you would see a movie and sometimes that movie wouldn't come out to VHS or DVD until maybe a year after the theatrical release. It would take that long. And now that window's been getting shorter and shorter over the years, where you just wait maybe a month or two sometimes, and you'll get it on home video.
Well, yeah. Yep. Oh,
go ahead and cruise us, please. Get us out of here. We're already over an hour.
Yeah. Okay, so I think it's a good time for me to stand up on top of that mountain and yell, "Get over here!" That cheesy, and yank it into me. What do you say?
Okay.
So I have a joke here.
All right.
That is centered around the holidays.
Okay.
What does the gingerbread man use to make his bed?
I'm not going to think about it for real. What is it?
Cookie sheets.
Oh, cookie sheets. That's cute. I don't know if you get crickets on that one, man. That was too good.
Oh, I went bad.
Oh, cookie sheets. All right. I might actually get crickets, though. All right. Why does Santa have a tough time going down the chimney?
I don't know.
Because he's claustrophobic. Claustrophobic? Oh, are you not laughing on purpose, so I have to stick crickets in there? You are holding your mouth shut. That's not fair.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either.
Oh.
Call me out like that. That's messed up.
You were inserting that awkward pause on purpose.
Oh, that's great. Okay, guys. Well, I mean, if you've been listening to us long enough, we are doing a show over on YouTube. We stream it live at 10:30 every week. It's all about the Mandalorian. We break down each episode. It's an interactive show, so come on there, talk to us. Well, we'll get back with you as much as we can while we're doing the show there, and like and subscribe that so you don't miss any of that stuff.
Check us out. Yeah, check us out on Dadnarok.com. You'll find links to all past episodes, as well as all of our social media pages. You'll find links to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and our shop at TeePublic. Get yourself a Dadnarok mug, Dadnarok hoodie, all kinds of good stuff on there.
Get yourself a good mask on there too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, I think that's a good spot for us to go ahead and say it's the Dadnarok podcast signing off for the evening. Have a good one.
I got to be able to find something. You took my get over here. That would have been a nice thing at the end.
Finish him.
Let's see.
I don't know anything from any of these movies. Red pill or blue pill? I'm going to stop my recording.
All right, you stop. I'll just do something later. F it. I stopped.
Oh, you're gonna make me sit there and think about what did he put in there? I gotta fast forward to the end. Okay, I'm gonna kill the recording here.
Maybe I'll just scream Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.